Good morning, ladies. My name is Chaz, and welcome to the What If, or actually, custom card. So or I like to call it custom card review in these things. So it's basically this one is the pro one. It's basically like the Florentine Yu-Gi-Oh's deck profile thing. But of course me and him are gonna duel at some point. So stay tuned on that one. So yeah. So let's get into the custom cards / deck preview. This is my version. So so this one in today's video, I'm gonna go over the updated Power Monsters archetype. And in this archetype is based on Power Rangers, of course. And the king, of course. Let me give you a backstory on Power Monsters. So, Power Monsters, they used to be humans, born from different planets, like Krypton or way before. Of course, then they found an ancient source, like an ancient war thing going on, and they became Power Rangers. Like a red is their leader, and green, yellow, yeah, all that stuff. So let's begin with Power Ranger Red. So he's a fire level 4 Beast Warrior effect monster. Monster. And so they have their summoning ones, basically during either player's battle phase, send all cards from the field to the deck, except Power Monsters cards. And if this card's effects are negated by card effects, shuffle this card into the deck, special summon one Power Monster with a different name from your deck or graveyard or battlefield to your field in attack mode. Then draw 2 cards from the top of your deck. So, yeah, so they all have the negation effect of switching each other's out. Like how Power Rangers were supposed to be there's one arc about Red Ranger taking the spotlight, then yeah. So blue, who basically allows you, or basically your opponent draws during the draw phase, return 1 card. Turn from your graveyard or battle zone or hand into the deck. And then it shuffles it, then draw 2 cards from the top of your deck. So, yeah. Then if this card is or the effects get negated, shuffle this card into the deck. Special summon one. Yeah. So, yeah. Yellow. No. Basically, during your draw phase, you gain 1,000 life points. If this card is, or if this card's effects are, yeah. To your field, yeah. And then this one, that kind of looks like the one that the Florentine Yu-Gi-Oh! Has. That Lord, or Green Ranger, or Lord Zard, or whatever his name is. Yeah. But mine is called Green. Power Monster Green. So, yeah. During your end phase, you can select one card from your deck or graveyard or bound zone to be added to your hand. This card's effects are, or if this card's effects are negated by, or are negated, shuffle this card into the deck. Special summon one power monster with a different name. Yeah, and then if it does, then inflict 1,000 damage to your opponent's life points for each power monster card from your deck by this effect. So it basically switches itself out. Then it like summons another monster, so it would have been 2, I think. So pink is almost similar to this one, but pink allows you to special summon one monster from anywhere in the attack mode. So basically, it has, yeah. So then, from a different name to your field, but if it does, then the monster, like one of these, gets like the attack boosted. Sorry. It doubles the attack point. Like if it was for him, it would have been 3,000. Yeah. And then you can only use these effects for once per turn. It's a soft once per turn. So, yeah. Nothing too crazy about it. And then let me do the spell cards first before we get into the fusion. Oh, wait. There's 2 pendulum monsters. Monster King and Robot of Power. So, this one is like Lord, or Zaro, or Zark, or, yeah, one of those villains. So, all cards from the field except Power Monsters card gets negated until this card leaves the field. If it does, then send all cards from your opponent's field and hand into the deck. Shuffle your opponent's deck for once per turn. Then, if this card is, yeah, it has a really big, like, wall. Like, you can return 2 cards from your graveyard or battle zone into the deck. And then shuffle it. Skip your opponent's battle phase, and then send 6 cards from the top of your opponent's deck to the graveyard. And if this card is If this card's effects are negated by card effects, you can discard one card from the top of your deck to the graveyard. This card is placed in your pendulum zone. If it does, then place 3 cards from your deck to your spell and trap card zone. If you have a power monster in your pendulum zone, you can select one card from your deck to the graveyard. Special summon 2 power monsters from anywhere to your field in attack mode. But their effects are negated until the end of this turn. So then this run, all power monsters gain this effect for once per turns. This card can't be destroyed by battle or by card effects, and can attack 3 times per battle. Then if this card is in your pendulum zone, you can discard 2 cards from your deck to the graveyard. Special summon this card from your pendulum zone to your field zone. Yeah, then yada yada. Yeah. Here, let me. Whoop, there we go. Yeah. So it's only. Yeah. It's pretty powerful. So now, make sure there's 4 spells, 1 trap, I think. Yeah. So let's start with Power Monster, Power of the Soul. This card, you only need 3 copies of it. So this is basically equip card to equip to a power monster on the field, and then it gains this effect for, yeah. Plus it attacks your opponent's life points directly, and all cards or effects cannot be activated during the battle of this card. Yeah. If this card is in your graveyard, you can shuffle this card into your deck. Special summon 2 power monsters from anywhere to your field in attack mode. But their own attack points become double the attack points. This card's effects cannot be negated by card effects. Yeah. So then, yeah. Then the other one is basically like Polarization, but with a extra. It's for this archetype only. Plus, as the fusion monster gains or attack points become double the attack points. And if it gets destroyed by battle or by card effects, shuffle this card into the deck from anywhere instead of it. If you do, draw 2 cards. So it has protection against card effects, and yeah. And then the third and final spell card, Power Monster, Raging Monster. It's a continuous spell where it's once per turn during your main phase 1. If a power monster gets engaged by card effects and it is shuffled into the deck, your opponent loses 25,000 life points. For each level of that shuffled power monster from your deck by this effect. By its effect that gets negated by card effect. This card's effects cannot be negated by card effects and can't be chained by card effects. So it basically, you have to not have it chained, but it also can't be negative. So you're basically, if your opponent activates a card effect, negates your monster, then the spell card, I'm trying to remember what was the spell card for, or it's a ritual spell to summon their ritual monster, and I can't remember. And the fourth and final spell card, the new one to this archetype, is Maker. Power Monster Maker. Once per turn, during either player's turn, you can select 2 power monsters from or cards from anywhere, except this card. Add them to your hand. I know it says it, but add them to your hand. If it does, then, or the rest of this turn, negate all card effects from the field until the end of this turn. That's crazy. And, yeah. This card's effects cannot be negative, or like, the negated by card effects. And you take no effect damage. So basically, some of these cards are pretty broken. So like, if this card's out and during your turns, you select red and green, add them to your hand, or a field spell, or add like this card, or if you had this card on the field, well, this card is on the field too. You basically, you went in and you had like whole field of monsters, because this one is also like skill drain, but instead of working with monsters, it works with spells and trap cards. So basically, if you had Jinzo on the field, or if your opponent was playing, like my opponent would have been like Florentine Yu-Gi-Oh! And he was playing his like Seal of Alcalcos, tries to negate it. Well, this card can't be negated. So yeah. But yeah. That's only on the field, right? From the field until, yeah. So, basically, if your opponent it loses its bonus, your opponent loses its bonus, but so 2 traps cards for this archetype. Power Monster Overload. This card can only be activated if your opponent activates a card effect that negates Power Monster's card effect. And this card activates this way. You can negate the activation of your opponent's card effect. You can shuffle all cards from your graveyard or battlefield into your deck to negate that card effect instead of it. If this card is in your graveyard, you can select 2 cards from anywhere to your hand. Shuffle this card into the deck. Yeah. And then this one is basically, oh, wait, hold on. This one basically allows you to negate your opponent's card effects. Right. That tries to negate like a card effect. Yeah. But now the other trap card, this one, Level Up. This card can only be activated if your opponent activates a card effect that negates your Power Monster's card effect. Discard 2 cards from the top of your deck to the graveyard. Negate that card effect instead. And if it does, then shuffle it into the owner's deck. And your opponent must draw 1 card from the top of her deck. If your opponent declares an attack, on your Power Monster, you can pay 1,000 life points, negate that attack, and end their turn. If it does, then you gain 2,000 life points. Yeah, so basically this card has 2 effects, where one of them, if your opponent activates a card effect, you can negate it and by discarding 2 cards. But if it was attacked, then you have to pay life points to negate it. So it's basically, no matter what, you're going -1 in card advantage, or 3 negative. So then, yeah. So each one of these cards have their own unique design. So let's start with her Signet Boss Monster. Power Monster Power Up Cannon. It's a level 12 Earth Machine Effect Monster. It takes 5 power monsters, or monsters, like monsters. If this card is fusion summon, you can inflict 2,000 points of damage to your opponent's life points. For each level this card has. And if this card's effects are negated, shuffle this card into the extra deck. Special summon 1 power monster from, or with a different name, from your deck or graveyard or battlefield zone to your field in attack mode. If it does, inflict 1,000 damage. So then, yeah. It's like that one TV show, or in that one part of Power Rangers where the guy is about to, like, attack, and some other, like, I think it was the one with cops one. most wanted criminal in the galaxy. And he, yeah, inflicts damage, yeah. But then we have this one. He's basically a big boss monster. He's like a Egyptian Ironheart on steroids. So he's a monster lord. Level 12 machine fusion effect monster. Yeah. If this card is fusion summoned, you can discard one card from the top of your deck to the graveyard. Send all cards from your opponent's field and hand into their deck. If you do, then this card gains 2,000 attack points for each card from your opponent's deck by this effect. If this card turns the effects gets negated, shuffle this card, supposed to summon one monster. Yeah. And then, but its attack points become double. If it does, then inflict 3,000 damage to your opponent's life point. So basically, if your opponent had lower life points, you can, and like, if your opponent activates a card that like, oh, I destroy your monster lord, and, or negate it and destroy it. But this card, once it's like negative, like basically since it shuffles it out. But for the fusion spell card, if it gets destroyed by battle or by card effects, shuffle this card into the deck instead. And with like this one, allows it to attack your opponent's life points. It basically, let's do the math. So, shall we? Oh, let's do this. So, 2,000 times sorry, I'm thinking. It's scary. Let's say 16 plus 4,000 is that much. And with the spell card, this one allows you to basically attack into your opponent. Own it. Then, yeah, you swing for game. And then this one, basically, so each level, so it's level 12. Let me show you. Ready? Level 12 times 1,000. Yeah. Basically, that much damage to your opponent's life points. So these two are instant win cards in their own way. Like this one needs this card turn to be like, bam, I win. Or this one. And it should be, yeah. Yeah. So basically, each one of these monsters, or each one, is a different. So, yeah. So Zuku, or so now my. So the deck, hang. Let's go over to Dueling Book. Alright, so the deck that I'm running currently is basically a aim is to basically have a lot of negation. And the like this card, this one, like once it's ritual summoned, and you can, and if this card attacks a monster before damage calculations, you can pay 1,000 life points to negate all card effects evolving or before the battle evolving this card. Yeah, all these cards might be useless against most decks, but I did forget to add here. There you go. So this one, brother to brother one, you basically add 7 power monsters cards from this card. Yeah, you basically add them from your deck or graveyard. This card's effects cannot be negated by card effects. And can't be changed by card effects. Yeah. So then each one of these cards have their own personal. Come on. So this one tributes one power monster to the graveyard ritual summon one. Yeah. These cards, like this one, might be broken because of it. So, yeah. So the... Here we go. And I threw in some Pot of Greed and Jar of Avarice, the... Like... And original, like, Parsmation. And... Yeah, some of these cards might help. Because this... It has a lot of negations. It has a lot of, like... Basically... Power Monster, Toy Monster. And, like, yeah, it has a lot. I mean, a lot of like, negations and drawing power. It has, yeah. So, this one, so, sorry if this video is a little bit long ahead of time. So, this card equipped to a power monster, it gains 1,000 attack. And while this card is sent to the grave from the field to the grave, you inflict 2,000 damage to your opponent's life points. Shuffle this card from your graveyard into the deck. Yeah, so then that's one, and then this one. Yeah, and then it does crazy stuff. It inflicts damage, then shovels this card into the deck. And then the equipped monster into your deck. Shovel this card and the equipped monster into your deck. And then draw 2 cards from the top of your deck. So it basically has a lot of energy with like cards like the skill drain or or the skill accessor or the mirror thing or the swamp. Like there's also, I threw in like bad reaction to, oh, did not mean to do that. Hold on. And reaction. Okay. Bad reaction to Samachi, or in the Japanese version, bad reaction to drugs. So, yeah. And then we got Eye of oh, wait, what? Oh. I did not see it. Eye of Truth? Huh? What? So, all these cards that have like, plus the like double summon can be used to like bring out the other 2 monsters. And yeah, all these cards, it's a 57 cards plus the 4 of the few or 2 copies of each fusion monster. And yeah, plus the monster that's like this one is a like, it's basically a like summons itself and like, yeah, so yeah. And then the spell card, I remember this one allows you to ritual summon 1 power monster by using the materials from your graveyard or handstone or hand to be shuffled into the deck. But it gains this effect for once per turn. It can attack 3 times and yeah, per battle phase, and this card attacks your opponent's life points directly. If your ritual monster gets destroyed, yeah, yada yada, yeah. So then, yeah. So this is my deck profile. If for a time Yu-Gi-Oh sees this, my cards are ready to duel. If you're ready to do your deck profile, go right ahead. I want to see your deck of like almost full of negations versus the cards that are full of negations. So yeah. So this one, all these cards, they're or for Power Monsters archetype is full of negation. Basically, once you like negate one card, brings out another one, then yeah, it switches it out for yeah. So I hope that you guys enjoyed this custom card review / deck profile. And I do not know what day the video will come out. But I might use two decks in one duel. If this video gets 1 like on it, or 2. If it was like 5 likes, I might, or me and him will duel in, like, at some point. So, peace out, y'all.